Lobbycast. I like that.
We're recording in a van down by the river.
I will probably edit that out.
Yeah, well, with the constant F-bomb.
Quote Brad Pitt, what is in the box?
Am I the only one that's impressed that Brendan Fraser still gets work?
Hooray.
We are actually live.
Excellent.
Woohoo! So, Erin.
Geoff.
Welcome to episode 333 of the Lobbycast.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of a thing.
A little bit of a thing.
A little bit of a thing the other night.
My car got crunched.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. And I was in it.
While you were in it, no less.
And then I went to work.
Like you do. And I do mean that, like you do.
Yeah. That's not so bad. All right. Let's see. Man, I am just kind of headachy and feeling quiet today.
It's called a concussion, dear.
No, it's fine. It's totally cool.
They're called a concussion.
Yeah. How do you feel about doing some news?
I think we should launch right into the news.
All right. What do you have, Erin?
I think the biggest thing we ought to address first is what we're talking about. We lost Omar Sharif this week, folks.
Yeah.
Sad times.
83.
Good long life.
I actually thought he was older than that, but 83.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was doing pretty well in our humble opinion.
Not so bad.
Not so bad, sir.
You know, he was in Lawrence of Arabia. He played Che Guevara. He's played Marco Polo. He's played Genghis Khan.
Dr. Zhivago. Let us
Dr.
not
Zhivago,
forget Dr. Zhivago, one of the best movies ever made.
And he was in Funny Girl with Barbra Streisand.
Yes. And if
he's been around.
He's been around. I mean, he has well over 100 movie titles to his credit and in several different languages.
Most of the ones in the last half of his career are fairly questionable at best.
You know, anytime you can still make movies for a long period of time, Michael Caine said it best, I think, when he said the best you can hope for in this industry is just to work.
And he was definitely working.
And he was definitely working. You know, Michael Caine pointed out sometimes you get the Cider House roles. The rest of the time you have to do Jaws 3.
Yeah, that's a fair point, I think.
It is what it is. But a fair few of them, like I said, were in other countries as well. So he was clearly not limiting himself to Hollywood, which is fantastic.
That's right. He was Egyptian.
I did know that, yeah.
How about that? Are you Egyptian?
Yes. Can't you tell?
I am also Egyptian.
And you can tell.
All right. Did you have any other news for us?
A few minor things caught my attention this week. This isn't really news. It's just a fantastic product that I wanted to say that's great on the show.
Okay.
If you look up Geekify.
You got me excited.
Excellent. Geekify covers for your Kindle or your tablet, whatnot. You can make your tablet look like a TARDIS. You can make it look like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You can make it look like a whole number of fantastic things. Those made me happy, so I just thought I'd share that with you all.
Yeah, I didn't get it from Geekify, but I do have being sent to me in the mail a Han Solo and Carbonite cover for my Galaxy Note 4.
Excellent. That is good to hear.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I probably won't have it on my phone for more than 5 minutes before it irritates me and I take it off because I don't keep a phone cover on my.
Oh, you know, I'll see where you got that, and so I can look something up because I kind of, for sheer protection, I'm rough on my phones. I don't mean to be, but it happens.
Yeah, see,
so they need to have covers.
I just do the tempered glass screen protector, and that's it. And I sit on my phone constantly because I keep it in my back pocket.
So excellent. I'm glad you have a nerdy phone cover winging its way towards you as we speak.
I ordered it about 3 weeks ago. We'll see when it actually shows up.
Good deal. So anyway, Geekify covers look like good stuff. Thought I'd give a little shout out to those. I guess the Nerdist put up a first look at the Ghostbusters, the all-female Ghostbusters cast.
Oh, yeah.
which
And
it looks funny.
okay,
It looks good.
and who is it again? Kristen Wiig, obviously, because she's in everything.
Melissa McCarthy,
Who's also
in everything, and damn it, I don't remember the third.
Because
lady.
it's someone who isn't also in everything.
Who's not also in everything, but that might change after this. So
yeah, maybe so.
maybe perhaps look that up if you're so inclined.
Hey, you know what can be said about Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy?
What's that, Jeff?
They work.
They do work. Might not always be fantastic, but they do work.
Yeah, I think they've both, like, at least for the last 6 or 7 years, haven't they both been putting out at least one movie a year, if not two?
I'd have to look it up, but if that feels right, I don't.
Yeah.
I'd have to look up
It's
the
been a
exact
lot.
numbers, though. They've been fairly prolific, I think.
Yeah.
So good for them, especially because I think it's harder for people to accept women as funny sometimes rather than men. Not all people, but some people do have that impairment. So I'm
That's
glad
weird.
that there's a lot of ladies breaking the walls down these days.
Yeah.
It's good. Good thing. Makes me happy.
I don't have that impairment.
No, you've never had that impairment.
Yeah,
Who loves you, the funny ladies.
My favorite stand-up act that I've seen was Aisha Tyler.
Yeah, well,
She's pretty
she's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And you've made no bones about your love of Sarah Silverman over the years.
Right.
And
And Amy Schumer's kind of grown on me too.
yeah, I knew you've been talking about her. So
I've been watching her show. So yeah.
that is, in fact, never been. You've never been bigoted against the funny ladies, which is good.
I spend nearly all my time with women, and I listen to mostly female artists,
Music and comedians, and
yeah, that's weird, but whatever. I prefer the company of women.
See, there you
Ain't
go.
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And the other thing that apparently everybody was losing them. I'm sorry, guys. I have to censor myself so much. If I ever sound like a stuttering idiot on this show, just rest assured that I'm trying to keep the rating G to PG. I apologize.
I could use. No, I can't use that.
No,
word. I should use. No, I can't use that word either.
Maybe I could. Oh, why? No, that's the way.
I definitely can't say that.
Say that. There's a lot of that going on in my head as we film this. I just think you should know that. I apologize. Okay. People were having a hissy. There's a big kerfuffle online.
Ooh, kerfuffle.
I don't get to bust that word out very often, so I guess that makes up for what I can't say.
Right.
Over Kit Harington. I do not watch Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
So John Schnur, I believe is his late girlfriend, used to refer to him as, at least that's what it always sounded like to my ears. You know nothing, John Schnur. Who is John Schnur? She's looking at some guy named Jon Snow.
Hey,
anyway,
you cannot say those kind of things about a fellow ginger.
Yeah, it's true. She was a badass. And
Yeah.
From what little I saw of her, she was a true badass, which good for you.
Yep.
Went the way I understand she went the way so many characters on that show go. is no longer with us. So
oddly enough, she went pretty much the same way as he did.
Yeah. So I've heard
at the hands of the same character.
Sorry, we should probably go back. Spoiler alert.
Nah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, okay. If you haven't seen it by
fine.
now, come on, catch up. Really, seriously. But that is why people are talking, though, is because Mr. Harrington put his hair back to John Schnur's style.
Right.
And so everyone's saying, oh, maybe. So people are just hopes up right now, I guess.
Yeah, the people that I know that have kept up are of the opinion that he's going to be brought back via the Red Witch. Okay. And a lot of people online are saying that he's going to be brought back as one of the icy dead, the White Walkers.
I'm going to try to look deep in thought as you say that because I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Good theories, though.
He said,
sure.
He said that he is dead.
I've heard that as well. I've heard that he said
that his character is dead. However, saying you're dead does not mean that you cannot be brought back.
It does not clear things up on that show, from what I understand.
Yeah, because I was saying, being brought back by the White Witch, there they've already
White
introduced
Witch or Red Witch?
the Red Witch.
When
I'm
you
sorry,
said Red Witch.
the Red
Okay.
Witch. White Walker's Red Witch.
Got it.
Okay.
I'm caught up.
Because they were the Red Witch worships the Lord of Light, and they've already introduced a character back in season 1 or season 2 that also was a follower of the Lord of Light, and he was basically invincible because he could be killed and he'd come right back to life.
So people are definitely hoping for that for John.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the White Walkers regularly add new numbers to their army by raising the fallen enemies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I guess there's some hope for John then.
Yeah.
Or he just decided he really rocks that look and decided to keep it.
Yep.
Or he's just messing with everybody. That would be funny, actually, at least to me.
That would be funny too.
Be like Heath Ledger knowing that, people were trying to sneak a peek at the Joker makeup and buying a green fright wig and letting people photograph him in it back in the day.
Yeah.
That made me happy too.
Yeah. That was awesome.
A couple other things that caught my attention. Dragon Age. For those fans of the Dragon Age line of video games, or people like me who liked the first one and went with the two that came after that. There is a comic, I guess, coming out, Dragon Age Mage Killer, meant to expand on the story, a story that runs alongside the Inquisition events from the third game.
Right.
Should be hitting shelves soon.
Yeah, in addition to that and other Dragon Age Inquisition news, all the DLC from this point forward will only be coming out on Xbox One and PS4. It won't come out for the 360 and PS3 versions.
All right. I didn't hear that, but it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. And the one thing that I was very excited about this, perhaps Brick can tell us more about this because I don't believe we mentioned this, but Brick
at Comic-Con.
Brick is at San Diego Comic-Con. Lucky guy that he is.
Lucky guy that
he is. And I'm sure he hopefully has lots of very cool things to tell us when he gets back. But at Comic-Con, they released an official preview trailer of a movie called Con Man, which is written and produced, I believe, by Alan Tudyk of Firefly fame, also starring Nathan Fillion and Gina Torres of Firefly.
Oh, how about that?
And people have been hearing about this, and Joss Whedon, Firefly fans, have been excited about it for a while, but it's finally official. The trailer's out there. It's on the internet. Look it up. It looks very funny.
Yay.
So that's all my news.
That's all of your news. Okay. I do have a few things. Ubisoft was talking about their games because they make third-party games, obviously. They make games for the PS4 and the Xbox One. And they said that right now they're selling about double the number of games on the PS4 as the Xbox One.
That much?
Yeah. Makes a huge, huge difference.
Wow. I guess that kind of surprises me. It shouldn't, because that game system consistently outsells the Xbox One, but it surprises me that there's that much margin.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Probably it could be just because my worldview is just narrow enough, because most of the people that I know and play with are on the Xbox One.
Sure. Yeah.
That's probably influencing my view on that. But still, that's a big margin.
That is a huge margin. But good for them. I mean, because here in the States, at least, is pretty much the exact opposite, for the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Okay.
So, these kind of things are the things that are better for gamers, because the more competition there is,
absolutely,
it drives innovation.
It does.
Yeah. Some other things, starting August 25th, Gears of War Ultimate will be packed in with the Xbox One. That's kind of a nice little bonus there. Yeah. It won't be an old pack-in game. It's going to be it's a remastering of an old game. Yeah, but it's not something that's been out for a while or anything.
Plus, it's a good game. I mean, it's not like they just said, "Here, have this game that we can't make anybody buy anymore." It's actually a game you'd like to play.
It's been a long time since people have put their hands on the original Gears of War.
True.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. I like the first one better than the sequels.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. Xbox Music has been rebranded as Groove.
Perhaps you should phrase that. It has been rebranded again.
This time as Groove. It's kind of a funny moment, and as you'll hear in my Watcha listening segment, I haven't been listening to a lot of podcasts this last week because I updated my home PC to Windows 10. And the only thing that does not work is Zune software to Zune syncing. So I can no longer sync my Microsoft branded MP3 player because I installed a new Microsoft operating system.
That sucks.
Yeah. I can plug it in. It'll charge just fine. I can turn on my Zune software and it will download podcasts just fine.
Really, Microsoft? Really?
I was like,
we're laughing, but it's not that funny.
Yeah. It's just... It is what it is. I understand that the Zune's a discontinued product, but come on.
Yeah.
Make sure your own products work.
It is Microsoft, though, so
yeah,
something was going to fall through the cracks, I guess.
Oh, they will give up on a piece of hardware in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Let's go over the Game Critics Association awards that they put out for E3 that we talked a little bit about. Mm-hmm. No surprise to anyone. Fallout 4 received Best of Show. And one of the other games that I really, really liked, it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, is Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's Best Original Game.
Nice.
Best Console Game went to Uncharted 4. And let's see. We don't care about that one. Best Action Game.
Sorry, we're filtering what we care about and what we don't.
Star Wars Battlefront. And that's another one that I'm definitely going to play. Best PC game, Fallout 4. Best hardware peripheral, the Oculus Touch,
which
their VR helmet.
Interesting, yeah.
And I'm really glad that Microsoft partnered with them on that. You know, because they've got their augmented reality thing. The what is that called? I don't know. They've got their little augmented reality thing that they do, that Microsoft does. Mm-hmm. But for full-on virtual reality, they partnered with Oculus to...
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this, but it's interesting that they got that award. So that kind of should pique even more interest, I would think, in how that's turning out.
Yep. And then Uncharted 4 also got Best Action Adventure Game.
Nice.
Fallout 4... picked up Best Role-Playing Game, and Need for Speed, the new Need for Speed, is it received Best Racing Game. FIFA 16 picked up Best Sport.
Okay.
And let's see here. Best Family Social Game, Super Mario Maker. Best Online Multiplayer, Star Wars Battlefront, which that's a huge thing right there, because that's where these games really get their staying power.
Yeah,
absolutely. Is by being solid multiplayer. And Best Independent Game, No Man's Sky, which I was very underwhelmed by. It's been described as playing a Google Space Map.
Yeah,
you just fly from planet to planet for whatever reason. They haven't been very clear about what the objective is.
Yeah, I've really, and I can't really bash it from a personal perspective at all, because I've not seen anything. I've not seen any gameplay. I've not messed around with it or anything. I've just not heard a lot of good things about it. So
right.
I'll reserve personal judgment until I see something or play with it. But that doesn't sound terribly promising so far.
No, it really doesn't. And then Uncharted 4 picked up a special commendation for graphics, that's a good one to have too.
It is.
Make your games pretty. You don't have to. I'd rather have a working game that was engaging. But some people
pretty sure,
really like pretty.
Yes, people really like pretty, and it is nice. I think all of us have had a few times, usually when the technology takes a leap forward, that we remember looking at a game and just gasping and saying, "My God, look at that's gorgeous!" We've all had those moments. It's always
Everybody likes shiny things.
It's very true, very very true. What about you? What's the last time you remember doing that? Just the first thing that pops into your head.
It was, ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it was. Oh, look at those graphics.
It was probably Horizon for the PS4.
Nice.
Yeah, because the art style for Cuphead, I was really excited about, but it wasn't, like high graphic thing. It was just because it looked like Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Like so cool.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Nice.
But yeah, Fallout 4 didn't really wow me with the graphics. Actually, Uncharted 4 didn't wow me with graphics, but I was seeing video and not
sure.
Right. I didn't have it in my grubbing
And
bits.
I know Brick has been very vocal about criticism for Fallout 4 graphics, and I can kind of see what he means. I had that reaction when I was watching the preview of, oh wow, this
looks about the same.
This looks the same, if not a little worse.
Well, I'd say it looked the same as the PC version of Fallout 3.
Okay, that's fair.
It looked better than the console version of Fallout 3.
All right. Yeah, I'll run with that. I was a little surprised, but again, it's a video. It's not, this is an early release. And again, getting back
I'm so excited about that game.
I'm still excited. I'm still so excited about it. And getting, like you said, I would rather have a game that functions well and is engaging than is sparkly and shiny any day.
Yeah, and I was very happy to see people from Bethesda say, "We hear you. This game will work."
Yeah.
I know that we've released games in the past that do not work or
New Vegas.
don't work for everybody.
Yeah. They work for this guy, but he's the only one. He always gets the one good game that goes out somehow.
I still don't understand that. Because every single copy of the game is identical. And until they release a Game of the Year edition, every single copy is identical. You get the identical patches. But my games usually work
in ways that nobody else does. And the flip side of that coin is my games, I'm finding glitches that break the internet because even the internet is saying, I don't know what you're talking about when I look up the fix. I've never heard of that.
So like,
how did you do that?
That's not a thing.
And I'm looking at my screen going, it's a thing. I'm looking at it. It's a thing. And the internet's arguing about it.
No, here it is. It's
here
right
it is.
here.
I'm pointing my computer at the TV going, look,
see,
I told you.
Yeah, I'm glad that despite our very different experiences with Bethesda games, that we both still love them.
Yes, absolutely.
Not always the Bethesda published, but the Bethesda designed. What was that one? It was like Wet and then something else. Will bought them.
Yeah, Wet and
something else came out like within a week. It was also Bethesda published.
I can't think of what it was though.
It was some Hitman knockoff, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of like Wet.
He loves to say What, which is essentially sums up Wet too. I think maybe with slightly more interesting voice casting.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember Will a couple times when Will was playing Wet, and I was thoroughly meh about the whole thing. It wasn't bad. It just didn't really. I was in a total state of non-gripness, to use a Red Dwarf line. But I remember at some point going, oh, that sounds like Alan Cumming. Let me consult my device. It is. Good for him. But that was about the reason that game stood out for me and not much else. But he enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's it for the news for me. Hopefully Brick will have a lot to talk about next week.
I'm sure he will. He seemed very excited.
Yeah.
So
you guys will probably have to figure out a recording without me next week. We'll see.
That might save your sanity because as we will cover in my weekly Watchas, I've been watching so much Buffy this last week, which means Brick and I have a lot to talk about that as well. Which means that if Geoff is here next week, you're going to see a lot of Brick and I geeking out and a lot of Geoff sitting here in a spot going and hearing a lot of this.
Yeah, that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
I'm in Texas next weekend, so I work straight through Monday through Friday, and I work a lot of mids and not opens or closes.
We'll figure it out either way.
So it'll put me recording really late or whatever.
So
so let's get into the weekly watches. What you have been listening to this week?
Watching has been a lot more heavy than listening to. Listening still on, and I still need to figure out the proper pronunciation of her first name, be it Ellie or L. Ellie King. I'm very new artist. I'm very much digging her music.
Right. You talked about her last week.
I did talk about her last week, and she's got some.
Week before.
Yes,
you weren't on the show.
No, I wasn't on the show last week. Week before last. Brought her up. Still really enjoying her album and her sound, and so she seems to bring a lot to the table. It's very cool.
Nice.
And as we mentioned earlier, since you likes the lady artist, you might want to give her a listen as well. I think you might enjoy
Maybe
her.
So.
I think you might enjoy her. Plus, let's face it, if you listen to some of her songs and watch her videos, she actually brings some swagger to the table as well, which not enough girls have that. More girls need to have swagger, and she's got it in spades, so good for her.
Excellent.
Listening to some Tim Minchin on the musical comedy side of things. Big fan of Mr. Tim Minchin.
Musical comedy?
Yes.
Silly songs?
I don't know if silly sounds funny. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if silly. He's an extremely talented pianist. He says that he isn't very consistently, but being actually a state award-winning piano player myself, I would beg to differ and say that he's definitely got some talent, some skills.
Perfect. Tim Minchin,
and he even has a show where he plays in front of this huge orchestra, which is he's like a piano rock star that sings comedy songs.
Okay.
So some people have said Weird Al, but they're very different artists. They're not. Tim Minchin is quite edgy, actually. It says some fairly wrong things in his song, which Weird Al tends to stay away from. So listening to him and a fair amount of Louis C.K.
Excellent.
As well. So that about sums up mine. How about you?
I am very nearly back to my list. What you're listening to is are really short. I did get in one episode of Fat Man on Batman.
Okay.
And it was them talking about Suicide Squad.
Mm.
So how they're looking forward to that, and that Ben Affleck is definitely making an appearance. So the new Batman will be in Suicide Squad first before he's in Batman versus Superman.
It's just kind of cool.
Yeah. So mostly just shuffle all in the car because I can't sync my podcast to my podcast device.
As we've covered, yes.
Yeah, I can do it on my phone. I like having all my podcasts on a separate device, so it's not running down the battery on my phone.
That's a big battery drainer.
My phone is off the charger for basically 18 hours a day. So you kind of
need to conserve battery power.
Yeah. I don't want to put 2 hours worth of MP3 playing on there also.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it for me for listening.
All right.
What you watching this week?
A little bit more there. As I previously mentioned, huge Buffy bender. This last week, I'm just about to season 3, and Brick and I have much to talk about. Watched an episode of Doctor Who. Almost caught up on that. Let's see. Mysteries at the Museum, my usual favorites, Daily Show, Nightly Show, Outrageous Acts of Science.
Right.
And are you caught up on Penny Dreadful yet?
No.
Damn it, man.
I know.
Okay, well, and that was the one
I
other
know.
thing that we need to talk about. But
I mean, you can talk about it.
no, I'm not. No, absolutely not. I want you to get caught up and be there.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, because apparently stuff has happened.
Stuff has happened, as is wont to happen on that show. Which is one of the reasons we like it, and we're sad we're only getting one more season.
Well, in theory.
In theory.
Yeah. Because we could...
Hopefully. We're looking at you guys over there.
Yeah.
You could give us more if you wanted to.
Netflix could very easily pick up Penny Dreadful and Hannibal, and it would make me happy.
It would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Jeff.
This week I watched *Halt and Catch Fire*. I think I'm almost caught up on that.
Okay.
I'm only one episode behind on *Halt and Catch Fire*. I'm, I think, 2 or 3 episodes behind on *Penny Dreadful*. I don't know where my time's gone lately. *True Detective*, which is pretty great.
That is in our. We have recorded that. We just haven't watched any yet.
Yeah, I'm up to date on that one. So all 3 episodes that have been out. I think there are only 3. If not,
there were 4 in our queue when I looked earlier today. I
watched it today, so it's probably I've watched 4.
Okay.
Because however many I've been on, I've watched them.
You've watched them. You are caught up on that.
I should be. I watched Inside Amy Schumer, and the new season of Key and Peele just started, so I watched the first episode of that.
Yes.
I'm continuing to watch Humans and Killjoys.
Still liking those?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I like Humans is it's pretty interesting. It reminds me of a British show. Maybe it is a British show.
I think
it seems like
I think we mentioned on a past podcast that Will and I saw a European version of that when we were overseas.
Right. And there is one of those, but then I think this show is British and that one was like Swedish
or something. Okay. Yeah.
Norwegian.
I don't know what we saw nonsense. Exactly overseas, but it was interesting.
Then I watched Project Almanac, which is a time travel movie.
Oh.
Did you ever see Chronicle?
I don't think so.
It's a handheld camera shot.
Okay.
And Chronicle was about some kids who developed superpowers.
I remember seeing the previews for that.
Right.
I did not see the movie.
And this movie is shot in that same style.
Okay.
And it's these kids who this isn't a spoiler at all, but they pull up a video of they start tinkering around with one of the kids' dad's inventions.
Okay.
And going through and trying to get it working and whatnot. And they come across this video of that kid's 7th birthday, something like that. And in one of the frames, like real briefly, you can clearly see the young adult him in the background. So they know that they're going to be able to get this time travel device to work.
Okay.
Because otherwise he wouldn't be able to appear in his own video. Birthday. And it it's just kind of neat way to look like, what would you do if you had the ability to travel through time, and these are short bursts.
Okay.
And not a tremendous amount of distance in time, backwards, never forwards.
Okay.
But, it was pretty interesting, I thought. And then I watched part of Chappie.
Okay. What'd you think about the part that you saw?
I was very tired, and it was last night, and I was already a little confused from my my accident.
Okay, so perhaps we should.
I fell asleep.
So perhaps a full viewing when you're not concussed would be in order.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start over on that one.
Yeah.
What is interesting though is I distinctly remember, that D Antwoord band that I listened to.
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're in it. I thought they just made an appearance like somewhere in the movie. They seem to be the main characters in the movie.
Interesting.
or at least
significant characters.
significant characters in the movie. Because I would do things like see them on screen, and I would fall asleep. I'd wake back up, and they'd still be on screen. So, doing something else.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're at least
they're around.
They're around in the movie. So it's very strange.
It is.
Yeah. That's it for me. Yeah.
All right.
Just a few shows and those two movies. Well, kind of. Only one of them, really. But
Technically.
So, Miss Erin.
Yes, Geoff.
Tell me, what have you been playing?
To no one's surprise, ESO.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls Online.
We always call it ESO.
Yes.
But that's what we're
talking about. For clarification, Elder Scrolls Online. Pardon me if I was being vague.
It's kind of great.
It is.
Are you guys continuing to have issues with it, or is it all cleared up after that patch?
It seems like it cleared up after the patch, and really the main issue we were having was the invisible NPCs. And, you kind of have to log out and log back in, and they'd reappear. But it's nice not having to do that. And let's face it, me being me, I found every single invisible non-AP that one could possibly find.
I only had invisible characters when I was playing with Jordan.
See? Somebody else came into the equation, and you started experiencing the glitches.
Yeah. And they went away
strange.
As soon as I was no longer playing with Jordan.
I'm telling you, there's something weird. There's some bubble that you carry with you.
It should be a better bubble and prevent other people from having glitches when they're playing with me. That would be a better bubble. Still,
that bubble you have would be pretty awesome, I would think.
Yeah.
Use your powers wisely, sir.
I will try. I will most definitely try.
Well, yeah, that sums up what I've been playing, and it's been interesting getting involved in the MMO thing because I've never done that before. The first time Jordan said hello to me through the speakers, and I heard his voice in the living room, I about came out of my own skin.
Yeah, I do that too because because you do your sound through the Kinect most of the time.
Right.
You don't realize when you're on live. And what's funny, and it probably wouldn't be so funny to you, but your area chat comes on automatically.
I'm sure, and Will and I have had this conversation where I'm like, I'm sure some of our friends have heard us talking and either were like, we didn't want to hear that, but
our guild channel doesn't always come on automatically.
Nice.
But anybody who is around your character can hear your conversations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and see, I always log myself out of online chat right away.
Oh, yeah, and you have to.
And that's the first thing I do when I get on. But
it gets turned back on.
But sometimes it gets turned back on. And I was telling Geoff as well, the other thing that threw me off a little bit, and he explained also something else that I rather naively glossed right by, was Will was watching, me play one night, and he said, "You got 7 invites to join people's parties." And I said, "Yeah, that happens. It's in the evening. It seems like it's busier in the evening. That usually happens." He said, "Nobody ever invites me to play anything."
Well, since he isn't here, we can tell him I get invited to other people's groups. And I've been invited to 3 other guilds. I didn't accept.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't accept any of them.
But yeah, I've gotten guild invites and,
invites.
and party invites. And Geoff said, "You're a girl." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, they can see your."
They only in most games you see people see each other's character names. Mm-hmm. In this one for the Xbox and presumably for the PS4, they see your gamer tag, and your gamer tag is clearly a female name,
which I didn't think of, I wasn't aware of, and I said, "Well, damn, here I thought it was my incredible gaming prowess, and apparently not." But
and mine's also a little bit different because mine is branded with the show. Mine is Lobbycast Geoff, and so that's a little bit different also.
Sure.
Than Will.
Yeah,
Lord Will.
But it's been interesting, kind of getting introduced to this sort of different way of playing. It's interesting and scary, apparently, when your friends, in a very friendly gesture, say hi to you and make you pee a little bit in your living room.
Just a little bit,
Just tiny,
tiny bit.
not much. Geoff,
I've
what you been playing?
also been playing ESO and enjoying that.
As you would.
We have all been doing some trade skilling.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been cooking food. I've been fake cooking fake food for our fake characters.
As have I.
Yeah.
We're the provisioners of the group. We've got other people working on woodworking and
blacksmithing and enchanting.
Enchanting, indeed.
And alchemy.
I'm glad somebody else is taking care of enchanting because that is a pain in my butt cheeks.
Well, you know that app I showed you.
Yes,
it does a fine job with enchanting. Also.
It does. It helps out a lot.
Yeah, it works exactly the opposite of the alchemy part of that same app. Because in the alchemy thing, you pick the ingredients and it tells you what you can make. Mm-hmm. In enchanting, you have to swipe the screen, go and pick the one you want, mm-hmm. the effect you want, and then it takes you back to the first screen and highlights the things you need to put together to get it.
Right.
So it's interesting that they went in different directions with those. Because if it worked like alchemy, then you'd put in the runes that you had, and it would show you which glyphs you could make.
Right. So it's strange that they kind of did it
there were two different people working on separate sections of that.
That would actually make a lot of sense.
Yeah. They were not on the same page.
No.
But they both work.
They both work, so it doesn't really matter.
They just don't match.
Yeah. Different styles of
That's weird.
Getting it done.
Yep. And Hexic on the 360.
Uh-huh. You got your backwards compatibility download?
No, it was actually on the 360.
Oh, okay, on 360.
Yeah, I have to look and see how to get that download done. But I was looking at it, and I had to re-download it on the 360 because I did not have it on my 360.
Oh, okay.
And maybe that's the only step I need. Maybe if I go onto my Xbox One, then it'll be there for me to download.
It might be now that it's on your 360.
I like that game.
You know, I kind of went in fits and starts with that, where I would be really into it for a while, and then I'll just... Sometimes you have to do the whole cold turkey 3 nights of cold sweats and then you're done sort of thing with little addictive games like that. But with that one, I would just kind of wake up and go, done, and walk away from it for a while.
Guess what else I played?
What else did you play?
Zuma.
Good
also
for you,
on the
sir.
360.
Good for you.
Oh, actually, I think I played Zuma on the Xbox One because that is, I think I played that in my living room.
Probably because that one is one of the ones that there was a backward compatibility download, and I had that reaction.
I played that one on my Xbox One. Yeah.
Good for you, because I had that reaction of, oh no, Zuma.
And because I only ever made it to like level 8 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You and Sam both took a little overboard on that one.
If by overboard you mean beating the game, yeah, yeah, that could be qualified as overboard.
But when I started it back up on my Xbox One, I was at level 8. So it saved my progress.
Nice. That's good to know.
So you don't have to worry about starting back up because it's still beaten.
That's good.
You don't have to beat it again because it's done.
That would make me sad. I'm not going to lie. Nice.
But I think that's it. Not a whole lot. I'm going to be... probably not on the show next week.
Okay.
But maybe after?
Week after. So you don't have to watch Geoff's head explode from over Buffy exposure next week. And if he is here, you can watch and hear.
Yeah.
The head shaking and the sighing and various other and sundry motions and sounds.
Yep. Lamentations.
Alrighty, want to wrap this one up?
I think we're good.
Nice.
We're good.
Good.
And done. Good and done.
Good and done.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We, in bits and pieces, will see you next week.
Indeed.
Or the week after. Yeah, next week. Okay,
next
bye.
Week. Good night.